Hello, welcome to Randy Taste Things on the hottest channel on YouTube, Randy and Dave's Place. I hope you've already all clicked all those buttons that are somewhere on the screen. There's a like, subscribe, and get yourself some alerts. Do that. Of course, me, Rufus, are always here doing stuff. Dave's always behind the camera, looking cool, making these videos look cool. You know, yeah, that's what we do here. I drink things on camera and talk about them. Sometimes I eat things on camera and talk about them. Tell your friends, tell them to get over here and click all those buttons because that's what we want you to do. Watch us do stuff. Today, we're taking a journey to Japan. I do have these brand new Snow Monkey sake RTDs, but before we get into all that, we're going to talk about sake in general. I happen to love sake. I think sake is absolutely delicious. There's different varieties of it. It gets misqualified as rice wine, and that is not at all what it is. It's actually the brewing process for making sake is much closer to beer than it is wine. I don't know how it got thrown into this wine category, but for some reason, that's what people think it is. It is not. It is definitely brewed from fermented rice, not simply fermented like wine, and it's definitely not distilled like spirits. So for sure, like I said, the brewing process much closer to what would produce a beer than a wine or a spirit for that matter. But it does, to me, drink a lot like vodka somewhat, but it's a lot cleaner, a lot smoother than vodka. I do have some notes in front of me that I did a little research here. That way I had some decent information to give out here. But that's the first thing I like to clarify is that it is not rice wine. It is a brewed alcoholic beverage made from fermented rice. But sake making dates way back there. 3rd century AD is the first record mentioning sake in Japan. That's how long sake making goes back. Now they've got the idea of making a fermented wine beverage from ancient China, which I guess is okay because they weren't communists yet. I don't know, but not big fans of China. But either way, ancient China, that was a long time ago. They're the ones who introduced the rice and the idea of making a fermented or alcoholic beverage from rice back then. Of course, a huge ingredient in sake making today is koji mold, which is a type of fungus that breaks down rice starch into sugars, which is, of course, what you need to make alcohol is sugars. That dates back to about 715. Of course, some of these things are a little fuzzy, but the Japanese people have always kept very good written records. So that's probably pretty accurate, I would imagine. Year 927, sake making was put into the code of practice by the Imperial Court of Japan, which I'm pretty sure was a pretty big deal. I think that's how samurais were part of the Imperial Court of Japan and all that. So that's pretty cool. 1425 is when the first record of commercial sake was known of in Kyoto, Japan. Let's get to some more technical facts. As of today, there's about 1,720 sake brewers in Japan, and they have come up with about 126 strains of rice that are just for sake making. This is not your table rice that you go to your local grocery store and buy and eat with your chicken and whatever you eat your rice with. It's a whole different strains of rice. Now, there are some sake makers who do use table rice in their sake making. Just to level out some flavors, I would suppose. I've never had the privilege of being in Japan and being with a sake samurai maker. That sounds like a thing I should do. Top quality sake is always produced in the coldest months, like near the end of January when it's really freezing outside. That's when all the top quality sakes are produced. 1990 is when Japan started to make sake producers put the quality of the sake on the label. And that comes all down to the polishing of the rice. So when they harvest the rice, they take and mill it down to a certain number, and it ranges from 50% to 75%. And that number tells you how much of the original grain of rice is left when it goes into the brewing process. The more that it is polished down, you end up with more light, crisp, fruity flavors. The less that it is polished down, you get more what they call umami flavors, or like earthiness flavors, those types of deals. But yeah, there's all those different categories from your top level all the way to what they call table sake, which is going to be your, more cheaply made stuff. Of course, there are some sake producers here in America now. There's some out in California, and there's, believe it or not, at least one in Arkansas. I've never had it. I feel like sake making in Arkansas probably shouldn't be a thing. But we're going to try a little bit of this sake right here. This is called Pure Dusk. And it is produced and bottled by the Akita Shiryu Shizo. I probably nailed that. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Anyway, that is from Akita, Japan. I wanted to make sure we had authentic Japanese sake on here. I didn't want any of the weird other place sakes because I feel like it should come from Japan. But this is a filtered sake. There is a style of sake called Nagori, which is unfiltered. And it is more of a milky, creamy look when you pour it out. Also has a little bit sweeter flavor profile than the filtered kind. But I poured it into this handy dandy shot glass, so you can see that it comes out almost a crystal clear. It does have a slight, I would call like a golden yellow color almost, but it's pretty much crystal clear like you would expect like a vodka or silver rum or something like that to be. But on the nose, you get like a little fruit, maybe green apple, pear type of smell on the nose. You do smell the rice. You can smell the grain of the rice. It would almost be reminiscent of cooking rice on the stove, for sure. Let's taste a little bit. Yeah, that's a very, very, very clean sake right there. There is hardly, the flavors are all very light. Again, I do get that little bit of green apple, a little bit of pear, a little bit of maybe some like lemon zest, but very, very slight. It's very clean finish. There's no alcohol burn in sake whatsoever, and there really should never be. I particularly, if you go to like a Japanese steakhouse, a lot of times you can order hot sake, which is where they take the sake and they heat it. I've never been a big fan of the heated sake. I don't like warm alcohol though, period. I don't like alcohol in my coffee or hot chocolate or anything like that either. So there's something about warm alcohol I'm just not a big fan of. But there are sake specifically made for that, especially those ones that are made like in California and stuff. They're making that specifically for Japanese steakhouses to heat up. So I guess they are producing it in a manner where that will bring out the most flavor for it. But let's just jump into some of these snow monkeys. I don't even know what flavors they are. There are mango, guava, dragon fruit, and key lime. And those, hey, my first spill. How about that? There is mandarin grapefruit, and there is Yazoo hibiscus. So this is fun. Our first spill here on Randy Tastes Things. I wouldn't think it would have taken this long. We're 20-something episodes in, and it took this long to get here. So there's that. I don't know what to start with. I'm just going to go with Yuzu hibiscus. Let's find out. This has a little sparkle to it. Train wreck here, guys. I don't really know what to think about this. It's actually, I'm just going to keep talking like nothing's happening because that's what us professionals do. The flavor's really light. I don't know. I'm gonna come back to that. I think mandarin grapefruit. It's not bad. It's just really light. Like that flavor is not over the top. All right. I like that. That's not bad at all. Imagine like I don't know. I hate to make weird comparisons, but imagine like so they do actually have sugar in here. and stevia leaf extract. How about that? Um, so it doesn't have that fake. I was thinking like it doesn't have that weird artificial sweetener flavor, which is awful. Uh, so I like these so far. Very light, very easy drinking. I like these a lot, I think. Dragon fruit, key lime. Now, I will say these snow monkeys are a product of the good old US of A. So it is made with American sake. So who knows who the sake producer is? All right, you know what? Funny enough, this is made with the Origami Sake, which is from Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's pretty funny because I actually was just thinking about how funny I thought it was that there was a sake producer in Arkansas. Well, there's that. But they taste good. Yeah, these are solid for sure. I'm a big fan. I like it. Snow monkeys are Big Randy approved. They're actually really tasty. Yeah. How about that? All right. So I know this has been a little bit more educational than most of my episodes, but I just really like sake, So I wanted to get some facts out there. There'll be some future sake episodes because I do really like Nagori style sake too. I may do maybe a selection of some really good Nagori style sakes in a future episode. But there's that. Also, by the way, people, I know Boston is a real city. Okay, we don't have to, come on. Boston is obviously a real city. Okay, there's been wrestling matches there. That's how I know that. So, how about that? I have a lot of great basis for my knowledge, and where wrestling matches took place is top notch. What was I going to say though? I'm getting all sidetracked with the sake, and now I don't remember what my side note was for today. Well, I hope that y'all have enjoyed this episode on sake, baby. I swear I felt like I was going to say something about something. I don't know. I don't got it. I don't know what it was. So there's that. As always, folks, let's do some good in the world. Adopt a kitten, adopt a puppy. Let's donate to St. Jude's, Shriners Children's Hospital. Let's do some good stuff in the world. Let's go. I do know what I was going to say. Forget it. Forget about it. We're not signing off yet. Listen, what are we do? What is happening in the world right now? Blue-haired liberal nut jobs are all bent out of shape because Sydney Sweeney is in a jeans commercial. Am I just, if we lost the plot here or something? Like, what are we talking about? Leave Sydney Sweeney alone. She didn't do anything to you. She's in a jeans commercial. Get over yourself. Like, what are you even talking about? And now there's some uproar about a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. Just because the guy said he had good tan comes from good genetics. Like, shut up, people. Like, you're dumb. Quit being dumb. It's not a good look. God, it's ridiculous. Anyway, I know that's what I was going to say. Leave Sydney Sweeney alone. Leave the guy on the Dunkin' Donuts commercial alone. Shut up. Like, you're all dumb. There's no reason for all this nonsense. Just to hear yourself screaming on TV with your blue hair and your purple lipstick or whatever else you got going on in your life. Stop it. Anyway, adopt a kitten, adopt a puppy. Let's donate to St. Jude, Shriners Children's Hospital. Let's do some good stuff in the world. Let's not scream on camera about Sydney Sweeney being in a jeans commercial. Don't be a liberal. It's not a good look. As always, size matters. So does the gravy on your biscuits. Boom. I am out.